I call the member for Stirling.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. Well, I'll begin by saying that I'm not entirely convinced that there hasn't been some form of typographical error here. When I read the matter before the House today, I was incredulous that a member sitting here, democratically elected, would accuse the government and this place by inference of having a disregard for the rule of law, sovereignty and a healthy democracy. So I'll proceed on the generous assumption that the member for Clark is in charge of all his faculties, did not make a mistake, and has made a baseless assertion which I'll now proceed to refute. Let me take each one in turn. Firstly, on the point of the rule of law. This government, in just one example, has restored the Australian Building and Construction Commission. This is designed to tackle CFMM EU thuggery. We've banned secret and corrupting payments between businesses and unions and created a registered organisations commission that will make unions more transparent. We've introduced legislation to give courts more power to deregister law-breaking unions and officials, and we've introduced legislation to ensure that money that is paid for workers' entitlements is actually used for workers' benefits and not to line the pockets of unions. Let's touch on sovereignty, another incredibly important and fundamental commitment of this government. Let's talk about boosting the defence industry as a commitment, a practical step to enhancing our sovereignty. The previous Labor government, by contrast, ran down our Defence Force and failed to commission a single ship from an Australian shipyard for our Navy. We, by contrast, on this side of the House, are building 57 new naval vessels. This will boost Australia's Defence Force, as well as creating thousands of new skilled jobs. We also enhance our sovereignty by investing in skills. And this government's $585 million package delivering skills for today and tomorrow will create up to 80,000 new apprenticeships in areas of skilled shortages. It sees this government investing $3 billion into the vocational education and training sector in 2018-19. Let's continue talking about sovereignty. When John Howard left government in 2007, there were only 4 illegal arrivals in detention, and none of those were children. Labor proceeded to unwind then the Liberal and Nationals government's strong policies, and the results, well, they spoke for themselves and they were disastrous. Over 50,000 people arrived in 800 boats. 1,200 people died at sea that we know of. 8,000 children were detained. 17 detention centres were opened at an estimated cost of $17 billion. Well, we've taken back control of our borders. That's how we support sovereignty in this nation. The Liberal and National government have ended Labor's border chaos and restored our border protection policies, meaning that we have stopped those deaths at sea, we have closed 19 detention centres, and we have removed all children from detention. We are also contributing to our national sovereignty and to the rule of law by cancelling the visas of criminals. In fact, between December 2014 and December 2019, the Coalition has cancelled over 5,000 visas and strengthened character provisions. These provide that a citizen's visa must be cancelled if they are sentenced to 12 months or more imprisonment or have been convicted of a sexual crime against a child. Let me move on now and talk about a healthy democracy. Well, it is a sign of a healthy democracy, not without a little irony, however, that the independent member for Clark has the freedom to come to this place and submit a matter of public importance and trigger debate in this chamber for a full hour. Perhaps the member for Clark doesn't like that element of democracy. Perhaps it's the case that a fair exchange of ideas, including those colleagues on this side putting our strong position of the government on law and order, on sovereignty, is against his best wishes. But we are here to do that, and I stand here as one of the many ex-military or police that are serving on this side, having defended democracy and now having the right to stand here and defend the government's strong record.
Call the member for